In this video, you are going to be watching a POV perspective of this V for Vendetta tattoo. What is poppin', people? The needles I used for this were a 5-round shader, 11-round shader, 7 curved mag bug pin, 15 curved mag bug pin, and a 23 curved mag bug pin. The machine I was using was a Bishop 1 shader, and that was running at 9 volts throughout the entirety of this session. Now, further on in this video, I want to talk about filling in large areas with grey wash, so make sure you stick around for that. We will be talking about how not to overwork when you need a bit of build-up time. So, getting straight into it, here I am setting up with my hustle butter. Guys, when it comes to like creams, ointments, Vaselines, anything like that, they all do the same pretty much. Some butters claim to work miracles, but you know, I've never really noticed one being better than the other. So I just judge it on smell constantly. If it smells good, I'm using it. So now getting into the stencil here, you can see that I am marking up the area, just trying to keep it as central as possible, really, for the piece that I've got. This piece was actually like offset a little bit. The building was offset from the actual mask itself, so it kind of made it look a little bit off. But if you take it into account and measure up accordingly, you should be absolutely fine. As you can see, when I put this stencil on, you can see the tension in the paper already. Now, what I could have done was create more tension cuts around the actual stencil, so the stencil wrapped around the arm a lot better. However, I only needed the central part of the mask and the buildings underneath to be stenciled properly. Everything else around was smoke or clouding, so if it double lined, it wasn't detrimental to the piece. As long as that central part of the stencil is perfect, that's all I care about. Before I start a tattoo, I always make sure that the stencil is fully dry. If it's not fully dry, I do not start. Are getting straight in with a 5-round shader, just lining in the buildings at the bottom. There was absolutely no other reason to line in these buildings aside from I just wanted to make them nice and sharp. But guys, it is now time to crank up that music, and I will be back shortly. now you can see I'm filling in with straight black. Nothing changes from the last POV. Nothing has changed. I always start out with the first bit of black that I see to compare my tones against. Nothing changes. You will see a recurring theme throughout every POV, and that is what it'll be. Start with black. So previously I was filling in that black just then with a 15 curve mag bug pen, but now I have worked up towards the building. I've got some clouding in. The clouding was mainly done with the 15 curve mag bug pen. Just basically building up tones, starting out light, and just getting a general flow of smokiness or cloud in there. It's pretty simple. But now we're up on to the actual building. We are back on the 5 round shader. The majority of the building is just black, so it was just a case of filling in with this 5 round shader, just trying to make it as neat as possible. Now I know what you're all thinking. It is a very tight area to be packing black and going around those little small windows and crevices, and all that's just going to merge together. And yes, you are right, over time it will merge together. However, I took the executive decision, let's say, to see that it's not going to be detrimental to the piece as a whole in the long run. You're still going to be able to tell that it's a building. So why not? Finally, we are on to the mask. Again, starting with black, getting the black in that area, using a 7 curved mag bug pen. Now I'm just blending off the black on that beard and blending it into the clouds, trying to give it a look of, you know, that the clouds are over the top of that black, so there would still be some black showing through. I am also just working on that right hand side, just shaping in the mask also, so I don't lose my stencil line. Doing stuff like this is very time consuming, and it is just a patience game and a slow build. Now, some of you might be thinking, how do I get so much time on skin without overworking? And like I said, I am going to explain that in this video when we get further on, so just carry on watching. Really need to explain what's going on right now. The only thing that you really need to know is I needed to make that shadow nice and sharp, and I also needed to make that left nostril nice and sharp. So to do that, I started with the 5 round shader. Some of you may have gone round that nose with your mag and just filled it in, but if you're using a soft edge mag, then that gives a soft look to the tattoo, and I knew that this needed to be a lot sharper than that, hence the 5 round shader. Now shortly you're going to see, as we continue to do this nose, that I put in my black at the top of that nostril, that I put in black coming down from the top of the nose, and I also put in the black on the right hand side of the nose. This is because the left hand side of the nose was really dark, and if I'd have put my dark tones in first, it'd have made it increasingly hard to see where my black was going. how do you pack in a large area nice and dark while staying smooth, consistent, and without overworking? Well, you are currently 30 minutes in, so firstly, if you've made it this far, please take your hand, unzip your pants, and beat that meat, because you deserve it. First, it starts with the machine, understanding your machine and how it works. Has it got a give system? Is it direct drive? You need to know these things before you even attempt this sort of thing. Then you also need to assess your hand speed and how light your hand is. Once you've got those two down, that will give you the assessment of how long you have to build up and work on skin before overworking occurs. Now, a good tip here also is to use a bigger mag so you're not on the area for too long. Obviously, if you're using a small mag to fill in a big area, you're certainly not going to get it smooth, you're going to get bored, and you're working on the area longer, so you've got more chances of overworking. But with your bigger mags, you need to be working in small areas, trying to be as consistent and methodical about it as possible, building your tone up. The only difference is, in this case, is you're not building your tone up from a light tone, you are building it up from the tone that is needed. In this case, it would be my Insta Black range, Grey Wash number 10. You have a visual on screen so you can actually see how it's been done, but you can see also that the skin isn't red. There's no change in texture, there's no excessive plasma leakage. So it's not overworked. These are all signs in overworking, and that skin is as clean as it was before the area was tattooed. And that is because I am so in tune with my machine and how it works. I am so in tune with the needles I'm using, and I'm so in tune with how light my hand actually is. Think of it like this: if you scratch the back of your hand 100 times, alright, you might get a slight graze, but if you scratch the back of your hand 10 times, really hard, pressing on, you know, you get a little bit more than a graze and a lot sooner. And that's the exact same thing when it comes to the way that I work. Now, there is going to be differences in skin and skin type, so you obviously do have to adjust on the fly when it comes to doing something like this. Some people's skin just can't take as much as what others do. You've also got differences between male and female, generally being that female skin is a lot more softer than what a male skin is. So please do take that into account when you are doing something like this. to the white, starting with a brand new needle, that being a 13 curve mag bug pin, just for the white, because I actually don't like 15 curve mag bug pins. I only use the 15 curve mag bug pin just for the size of the tattoo. I wouldn't normally do this. I wouldn't normally pack in white like this in that area, but you know, I'm just experimenting with it. The only time I would use white really is on highlights, which you will see when I put in the mask. I just wanted to add a little bit of pop to behind the buildings. You will not see this white on the heel. It's as simple as that. It's not packed in good enough for you to see the white on the heel. But, you know, it gives that little extra pop on the photo, so why not? Anyway, guys, that is enough chatter from me today. Thank you all for watching the POV. Thank you all if you have watched this entire POV. Do not forget to comment on the video, and do not forget to smash that like button. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.